CEO dares a simple woman to fix an impossible engine. Soon after, the CEO is fired. They called her just a grease monkey, an invisible cog in a world ruled by polished suits and grand ambitions. Today, in a garage half forgotten by time, Emma Larson stands before Victor Hayes's prototype engine, an engine worth more than her entire life savings. The man who stole her breakthrough laughs from behind his desk. "You, fix this. You can't even read the specs." But Emma's eyes burn with a promise they can't see. She built this engine once, and today she'll prove she still can. Welcome to the moment they all realize how badly they underestimated her. If you believe brilliance can come from the most unexpected places, smash that subscribe button now. Hit like if you're ready to see an underdog engineer take on a ruthless CEO and win. Drop a comment telling us, what would you do if your life's work was stolen? Buckle up, because Emma Larson's revenge is about to rewrite every rule you thought you knew about power and justice. Emma Larson arrives before dawn at Sam's garage, her faded coveralls stained with last night's oil and sweat. She moves through the narrow bay with quiet precision, checking the hydraulic lift, lining up her tools, wiping down each wrench until it gleams under the harsh fluorescent lights. To everyone else, she's just another mechanic. Tall, unsmiling, her ice-blonde hair pulled back in a no-nonsense braid. Nobody suspects that beneath those grease-darkened hands lies the mind that once revolutionized hybrid engines on the world's biggest stage. 5 years ago, Emma was celebrated as the wunderkind behind Project Aurora, a breakthrough powertrain that could have cut emissions in half and propelled agile tech to the top of the industry. The night before its global debut, she returned to the lab for final diagnostics and found her fiancé, Victor Hayes, and her mentor, Marco Chen, siphoning her lifeblood, her coded blueprints, her custom control algorithms, her reputation. Within hours, fabricated evidence had branded her a thief and a fraud. The headlines screamed betrayal. The board dismissed her. Her friends turned cold. Sam Johnson, the garage owner, still remembers the day she stumbled in, hollow-eyed and broken, clutching nothing but her welding goggles and a box of spare parts. "I don't know your story, kid," he told her kindly, "but I know what it is to lose everything. If you ever need honest work, real work, come find me." So Emma Larson was born. The invisible engineer, trading press conferences for lug wrenches, data streams for engine grease. The radio crackles to life with the morning traffic report as Sam's son, 8-year-old Liam, bounds into the bay wearing pajama pants and sneakers. He grabs a rag and imitates Emma's motions, tightening a bolt on a rusted pickup. "One day, you'll fix a rocket, Emma," he says, eyes shining. She offers a small, rare smile, but her thoughts drift to what she's really preparing for. Mid-morning, a convoy of black SUVs rolls into the lot. Emma looks up as Victor Hayes steps out in a tailored suit, flanked by cameras and PR flags. He strides past her, barely glancing at the half-assembled engine they've asked her to inspect. "I'm sure you'll do fine," he sneers loudly enough for the crew to hear. "Mechanics like you don't get to touch prototypes worth millions." The flash of his cufflinks and the jeers from his entourage sting sharper than any wrench. She lets the insult land, storing it away like fuel. While Victor addresses the media, praising Agile Tech's unrivaled innovation, Emma studies the engine on her lift. Her breath steadies, her jaw clenches. Every custom valve, every sensor housing is familiar. It's her Aurora code grafted into a machine she never signed off on. Sam watches from the doorway, worry etched on his face. Liam peeks around his father's legs, hopeful. Emma places a hand on the cold metal and pictures the lab where she first poured her dreams into copper coils and ceramic pistons. She remembers the hum of the dyno tests, the pride in her team's eyes. This place, this dusty garage, has become her refuge. But today it will be the stage where justice is reclaimed. She glances at Sam and Liam, then at Victor, arching an eyebrow as though issuing a silent challenge. The bay goes still. Even the drips from an overhead pipe seem to pause. Emma inhales, feeling the weight of every injustice she's endured. Then she squares her shoulders and readies her tools. What begins here is more than a repair job. It's the long overdue reckoning of a brilliant mind forced into the shadows. In this moment, the underdog shifts. No longer hidden, and as the cameras roll and the world watches, Emma Larson lifts the wrench and steps into her real identity, the engineer who will right a 5-year-old wrong. Emma's wrench hovered over the engine block as Victor Hayes leaned in, eyes glinting with contempt. "Let's see if you can even identify the problem," he drawled, voice amplified by the microphones planted at every angle. A ripple of laughter swept through the assembled crowd of journalists and engineers. Marco Chen folded his arms, lips curled in a patronizing smile. The engine, prototype X3, hissed from a coolant leak, steam curling like mocking fingers around its polished casing. A bead of sweat traced a line down Emma's temple. Her pulse thundered in her ears, each beat a reminder of every sleepless night she'd spent safeguarding Aurora Drive's code. She inhaled, tasting motor oil and stale coffee. Beneath the grease and grit of Sam's garage, her mind clicked through schematics in a flash. A reversed polarity relay here, a malformed injector sequence there. Victor's voice cut through her focus. "I'll give you 5 minutes. If you can't diagnose the leak, this will be your swan song, and mine will be the final laugh." Cameras pivoted to capture her reaction. She placed her hand on the cool metal, fingertips brushing over a custom gasket she'd designed. It bore microscopic engraving, her signature embedded in the alloy. That single detail had made X3 more efficient than any rival engine. She could almost feel its hum beneath her touch. "Time starts." "Now," Victor announced. He straightened his tie, savoring the spectacle. Emma's gloves squeaked as she gripped the wrench. Steam blistered her forearm, but she didn't flinch. Her eyes narrowed. Without a word, she released the valve cap and let the coolant drain into a tray. The hiss subsided. Whispers darted through the crowd. What just happened? Marco cleared his throat. "Begin with something simpler, please." She ignored him, moving to the injection rail. Her hands flew, swapping out the leaky seal with one she produced from her tool roll. Brand new, precision cut. Each click of socket on bolt was a declaration. Victor's smirk faltered as the engine sat silent. That was an unexpected. He gestured for the livestream feed to pan closer. Macro lenses captured the fine ridges on Emma's gloves, the careful twist of her wrist. A flashback flickered behind her eyes. The night she discovered the betrayal. Victor's voice, calm and controlled in that lab corridor. $50 million is $50 million. Marco's hands plugging her drive into a data snatcher, the shutter of the lab door echoing like a tomb sealing her legacy. Her stomach tightened. The world had hated her in less than 24 hours. Headlines branding her a traitor, colleagues turning away, her family's cold rejection. That memory sparked a furnace in her chest. Not anger exactly, but an unbreakable resolve. She wiped her brow with the back of her hand, revealing faint scars from welding. "This leak was deliberate," she said softly, voice carrying across the bay. She motioned to an exposed manifold junction where a micro-hydraulic spike had punctured the seal. Someone sabotaged the coolant loop. A murmur swept the crowd. Victor's jaw clenched. He opened his mouth, but no words came. Marco's eyes darted. Emma bent low, inspecting the fuel mix regulator. She traced the custom circuit pathways, paths only she knew. "The injection timing has been offset by 2 cycles," she continued, "and the quantum sensor array has been rewired to drain power." She plucked a tiny microchip from the control module between gloved fingers, holding it out like evidence. "This chip is a kill switch. It matches the code signature of the Aurora series." The temperature in the bay shifted. Victor's face drained of color. His PR team exchanged frantic glances. Marco's shoulders slumped for the first time. A reporter's voice cracked over the speaker. "She knows this engine. She built it." Emma straightened, heart hammering, but her voice was calm. "I built it, and I know exactly why it's failing." Victor blurted, "You're lying. This engine is Agile Tech's property." She raised an eyebrow. "Property built on stolen IP." Her words landed like hammers. She set the chip gently on the engine mount, then pivoted to the control console. Her fingers danced across the touchscreen, running diagnostics she'd coded herself half a decade ago. Within seconds, lines of data scrolled upward, performance logs, temperature curves, error flags. all encoded in her proprietary algorithm. The crowd watched in awed silence as she restored the proper firmware sequence. The final upload confirmed 1,024 lines of her original code had been deleted and replaced. Emma executed a rollback. Her breath hitched when the engine's RPM gauge flickered to life. The console beeped. She stepped back and raised her hand, palm open. The engine coughed, then surged, first a tremor, then a smooth growl that swallowed every whisper in the room. Victor staggered, his carefully cultivated composure shattered. Cameras swiveled, capturing his disbelief. Marco backed away, mouth open as if shouting, but no sound emerged. Emma watched the tachometer climb. She felt something warm and liquid in her chest. Vindication, the sweetest fuel she'd known. Minutes ago she'd been a mechanic. Now she was the architect of her own reckoning. She bent to check the oil pressure one last time, then stood tall and met Victor's eyes across the steaming engine. "Your prototype isn't revolutionary," she said, voice low enough only he could hear. "It's a Frankenstein rig. You stole my work and tried to profit off it. Now everyone can see how wrong you were." Victor's lips twitched. He reached for his phone, likely dialing legal threats, but Emma anticipated the move. She gestured to the journalists. "Feel free to record every word." From the sidelines, Sam Johnson licked his lips, pride glinting in his gaze. Liam peeked around his legs, eyes wide with admiration. Emma turned back to the engine. Light danced off its polished surfaces. She wiped her hands slowly, deliberately, each finger a brushstroke in her silent symphony of triumph. She didn't need to tear down her adversaries, she simply needed to show them the truth, and as the engine roared to life, steady, powerful, unapologetic, the crowd erupted. Applause thundered, questions bombarded the microphones, flashbulbs exploded like fireworks marking her victory. Emma stepped forward, voice carrying over the din. "This engine isn't just about speed or emissions, it's about integrity. It's about a promise that innovation belongs to those who create it, not those who steal it." And today, justice has finally found its spark. She let the engine's cadence fill the moment, the perfect union of combustion and conscience, a testament to the brilliance they'd all tried to bury. Victor slumped against a chassis stand, lost. Marco sank to his knees, head in his hands. Emma tucked a stray lock of hair behind her ear. The gauntlet had been thrown. The reckoning had been delivered, but for her this was only the beginning. Emma's knuckles whiten as she grips the edge of the toolbox. Across the bay, 8-year-old Liam stands clutching Sam's hand, eyes wide with hope. His simple plea, "Please, Emma, don't leave us," echoes in her mind like a battle cry. In that moment, something shifts. All the quiet nights she spent, haunted by stolen code and broken promises, coalesce into a single, unbreakable resolve. She exhales, feeling the tension in her shoulders melt into purpose. The rage that once lay dormant now fuels every beat of her heart. No longer will she remain the silent mechanic. It's time to be the author of her own reckoning. She lifts her head, and her eyes lock on Victor Hayes as he strides past the lift, smug and confident. Her lips curve into a faint, knowing smile. He hasn't seen anything yet. Emma retreats to the back of the garage, where Sam's dusty office door stands half ajar. Inside, she opens her laptop, its screen wallpaper still the schematic of Project Aurora, and plugs in a slender flash drive. Fingers trembling, she bypasses layers of encryption, her pulse surging with adrenaline. She downloads every scrap of metadata, build logs, commit histories, version control backdoors that Marco Chen embedded. Each file is a dagger aimed straight at Agile Tech's heart. While the download progresses, her mind races through the logistics. She'll need physical proof and broadcast reach. Step 1. Expose the kill switch chip hidden in X3's control module. Step 2. Livestream her findings directly to every engineer, investor, and journalist present. Step 3. Deliver irrefutable evidence of Victor's theft and Marco's betrayal before his PR team can bury the story. It's a complex dance of stealth, technology, and timing, but Emma thrives on complexity. A red icon blinks, download complete. She ejects the drive, tucks it into her coveralls, and returns to the engine bay. Victor is still basking in the camera's glow. Emma unfastens her greasy jacket and tosses it over a stool, revealing a bespoke utility belt, rigged with compact tools and her flash drive. It's not the garb of a humble mechanic, it's the uniform of an avenger. She strides up behind Victor, voice low and confident. "I've identified the sabotage, but I think you'd like to hear how it really happened." His smile falters, curiosity flickering in his eyes. Without waiting for permission, Emma taps her phone, sending a silent command. Every camera in the bay pivots to her as a hush falls. Her phone screen bursts to life on the giant monitor behind Victor's podium. The folder icon appears, then opens to reveal directory after directory. Aurora, main code, version control, backup, kill switch firmware. The room gasps. She plugs the flash drive into the nearest laptop, throttling a custom script that automatically launches a live stream on every major network and social feed tagged to AgileTech's tag. Within seconds, onlookers see the heist. Timestamps from 5 years ago showing Marco's forced access to her secure server, lines of code being renamed to HazeInnovation.v1, and commit logs manipulated to frame Emma as the thief. Voiceover from that dark night crackles through the speakers, Victor's measured tone echoing in a lab corridor. $50 million is $50 million. The betrayal plays out in stark clarity, every forged signature and altered timestamp visible in raw data. Victor's face drains of blood. Marco's jaw hangs open. The assembled press leans forward, mouths agape. Emma's voice cuts through the stunned silence. "You built your empire on my innovation, then tried to erase me. Now the world can see what really happened." She marches to the engine, lifts the kill switch chip between gloved fingers, and holds it aloft like a trophy. "This chip is not yours. It bears my cryptographic watermark, proof that Aurora Drive runs in its veins." The crowd erupts into questions and exclamations. Emma returns to her laptop, initiating a second sequence, a remote wipe of the fraudulent code on AgileTech servers, restoring her original Aurora firmware to every prototype logged in their system. As the process unfolds, performance metrics stream across the screen. Emissions down 60%, power output up 20%. The data is undeniable. She steps back, wiping sweat from her brow. The weight of 5 years of hidden anguish lifts with every byte exposed. She turns to Victor, eyes blazing. "You wanted an impossible fix. You got the truth, and it's the most powerful engine in the world." Her voice softens, but carries an edge of triumph he can't ignore. "Now, it's time to rebuild with integrity." Sam's garage lights flicker as if in applause. Liam presses his small hand to his mouth, tears of pride in his eyes. Emma allows herself a brief nod of satisfaction, then retrieves the tools for one final act. Repairing the coolant seal she identified earlier. With meticulous precision, she rebuilds the system using her own Aurora components. Each twist and click resonates like a judge's gavel, sealing AgileTech's fate. By the time her work is done, a live-stream audience of millions has witnessed the entire spectacle. Investors are calling in to renegotiate contracts, regulators are circling Victor's office, and every headline reads the same: "Engineer unmasks theft, restores innovation." Emma steps away from the engine, shoulders squared, her name finally reclaimed. She glances at Liam. He beams and rushes forward, hugging her knees. "You did it, Emma." She ruffles his hair. Then she turns to Sam, offering a simple, profound smile. "Thank you for believing I could." As Victor slumps against a workbench, humiliated and exposed, Emma gathers her tools. She doesn't need accolades or job offers. Her revenge is complete, the world knows the truth, justice has been served, and she can finally step back into the light on her own terms. In that charged moment, Emma Larson isn't just a mechanic or a kidnapped engineer. She's the embodiment of resilience and righteous retribution. And her plan, executed with the precision of a scalpel, proves that no fortress built on lies can withstand the force of a single determined mind. Emma takes a steadying breath and slides her phone into the pocket of her utility belt. The cameras are still trained on Victor Hayes, whose smug grin hasn't faded, yet. She nods once to Sam, who gives a barely perceptible thumbs up from the sidelines. Then she steps forward, her voice calm but resolute. "Let's see if this baby can purr," she says, and her fingers fly to the engine's control console. With a few expert taps, she uploads a custom diagnostic script, her own Aurora Drive firmware restored to its original brilliance. The monitors light up with scrolling lines of code she authored half a decade ago. Algorithms that balance combustion timing, hybrid energy recapture, and emission suppression. Every data stream that had been corrupted by Marco Chen's tampering now resets to perfect factory spec. Victor's eyebrows snap together. "How are you?" he starts, but Emma doesn't pause. She taps execute, and the engine's RPM gauge flickers. Steam hisses from a reopened valve, then subsides as coolant circulation normalizes. The tachometer needle jumps to 2000 RPM, then settles into a low, steady idle. A murmur ripples through the press corps. Emma steps to the manifold junction where she'd earlier identified the micro-spike sabotage. She unscrews the damaged fitting with a screwdriver she picked up from Sam's rack, revealing the razor-thin puncture in the gasket. With swift precision, born of years of engineering finesse, she swaps in a brand-new Aurora-spec polymer seal. Her design, capable of withstanding 2000 psi without warping. Every click of the socket wrench is measured, deliberate, a metronome counting down Victor's downfall. While she works, she narrates without raising her voice. That micro-hydraulic spike would have caused catastrophic overheating under high load. Without this profile-matched gasket, you'd have seen bearing failure within 10 minutes of full throttle. She slides the new seal into place and torques each bolt to exactly 18 Newton meters. The engine bay is silent except for the whine of tools and the collective intake of breath from the onlookers. Next, Emma turns to the turbocharger assembly. She unclips the housing and reveals a remachined compressor wheel, its blades twisted at a sharper angle than factory spec. "This flying squirrel mod," she says wryly, "boosts horsepower but destroys efficiency and turbo lifespan. Yours was set to blow at 4,500 RPM. She flicks her wrist, releasing a quick spanner to correct the blade pitch back to Aurora's optimized 17-degree angle. Inside the wheel's cavity, she finds the hidden kill switch chip nestled against the stator. With a flourish, she pops it out and holds it up. "This little guy," she says, "was designed to cut power if the engine overheated. Useful in a race, but here it's just a sabotage device." Victor's lip twitches as Emma drops the chip onto a nearby bench and plugs it into her encryption reader via a coaxial cable. Within seconds, a holographic display projects metadata. Timestamps from Victor's office, file hashes matching stolen code, and a cryptographic watermark linking back to Emma's original repository. The crowd gasps. Victor claws at his tie. Emma doesn't hesitate. She rips open the hood of the live feed laptop and uses the same cable to dump the evidence onto the live stream server she'd secretly commandeered earlier. The screens behind Victor immediately shift from his smug PR slideshow to a raw forensic report, commit logs, tampered file names, and embedded watermarks. A voiceover from 5 years ago crackles, Victor urging Marco, "We need that code, plug it in now." The betrayal is laid bare. Emma steps back and watches as investors' faces go pale. She could stop here, but she isn't done. She reaches for a handheld diagnostic wand and scans the fuel injectors. A red bar illuminates on injector number 7, the one she'd originally tuned to precise micro-droplet spray. Now its pulse width is off by 15%. With a few deft keystrokes on the wand, she recalibrates the injector's ECU map, restoring spray duration and eliminating the lean burn fault code. As she finishes, the engine coughs, then roars to life, first a sputter, then a smooth, resonant growl that fills the bay. It's the sound of perfected hybrid synergy, combustion cylinders humming in harmony with the electric motor's whisper. Emma closes her eyes for a moment, savoring the engineered symphony she created. Victor staggers back as the microphones pick up every note. Marco stares at his shoes. Reporters shout questions, but Emma raises a hand. "This engine," she announces, voice ringing, "is the result of years of transparent collaboration, open-source integrity, and respect for intellectual property. It's proof that innovation belongs to those who create, not those who appropriate." A thunderous ovation breaks out. Sam's eyes glisten. Liam pumps his fist in glee. Emma allows herself the smallest smile before kneeling to reconnect the coolant cap. She tightens it until the gasket seals perfectly, then wipes a smear of grease from the engine block. One final tweak, she murmurs, plugging in a calibration dongle. The final performance graph flashes. Emissions down 65%, net torque up 22%, energy recapture efficiency at a record 48%. She slams the dongle shut and stands, her silhouette framed by the pulsing glow of the gauges. Turning to Victor, she says quietly, "The only thing left is to decide what you're willing to do now that you've been exposed." He opens his mouth, but Emma cuts him off with a single gesture. Her smartphone live streaming to 2 million viewers, their comments scrolling past. Justice. Brilliant. She owns it. Emma steps away, her shadow falling across his ruined prototype. "Remember this moment," she says, voice low but audible. "This is what happens when you underestimate the silent engineer." Then she picks up her jacket, slips it on, and walks toward the exit. Her steps echoing like a victory march. Behind her, the engine continues its smooth, relentless rhythm, proof that true power lies in integrity, not in stolen ambition. A ripple of stunned silence settles over the garage as the engine's hum fades into an almost reverent calm. Victor Hayes stands frozen, his tailored suit smeared with engine grime he never expected to reach him. His eyes dart between the shattered myth of his invincibility and the woman who exposed it. Marco Chen sinks to a low bench, head in his hands, the weight of every stolen line of code crashing down on him. Reporters rush forward, their microphones thrust like torches into the wreckage of Agile Tech's pride. "Mr. Hayes, can you explain these documents? Ms. Larson, how did you uncover all this?" Flashbulbs pop, capturing every moment of his crumbling facade and her resolute calm. Investors huddle at the fringes, phones pressed to ears as stock tickers plummet in real time. Within minutes, news outlets broadcast the forensic files Emma released. Commit hashes, encrypted timestamps, and that damning video clip of Victor himself authorizing the heist. On the live stream, comments surge into the millions. "She did it. Justice at last. Agile Tech exposed." Viewers share clips on social media and the hashtag #JustAuroraTruth trends worldwide. Regulatory bodies announce preliminary investigations. Patent offices flag Agile Tech's stolen property for immediate review. Emma's name is everywhere, no longer the grease-stained mechanic, but the rightful genius of both Aurora Drive and the X3 prototype. Sam Johnson wipes his brow as Liam jumps into his arms, shouting, "You saved the garage! You saved us!" Emma's lips tremble into a rare, genuine smile. She crouches to meet Liam's eyes, tucking a stray lock of hair behind her ear. "We did it together," she tells him, her voice soft but filled with triumph. Sam steps forward, clapping her on the shoulder, pride shining brighter than any spotlight. Across the world, fellow engineers and students watch in awe. Online forums buzz with admiration and support. Universities invite Emma to speak at symposiums, eager to learn from the mind behind the breakthrough. Industry blogs chronicle the Larson effect, predicting a new era of open-source collaboration and ethical innovation. She has not only reclaimed her legacy, she has reshaped the future of automotive engineering. In Victor Hayes' plush corner office, the blinds are drawn. His phone rings unanswered as calls from board members and legal counsel pile up. Plainclothes investigators are seen entering Agile Tech headquarters. Marco Chen's professional network dissolves overnight as former colleagues distance themselves. Their once celebrated partnership is now a cautionary tale about greed eclipsing integrity. Back in the quiet of Sam's garage, Emma stands beneath the flickering fluorescent lights, her tools laid out on a bench beside her. She lets the adrenaline ebb, replaced by a profound serenity. Every injustice she endured, every late night spent in despair, has led to this moment of vindication. She places a single blueprint on the workbench, the next iteration of Aurora Drive, open-sourced and free for all. As word spreads that she's donated her designs to public domain, grassroots racing teams and repair shops celebrate. Emissions drop in local circuits, independent mechanics retrofit hybrid modules for community vehicles. Emma's act of generosity ignites a movement. Technology liberated from corporate silos, shared for the greater good. The garage door rolls up on a new morning. Liam, now in a pair of oversized safety goggles, runs to Emma with a spark plug in hand. "Can you teach me next time?" She ruffles his hair and ruffles his hair and ruffles his hair again. "Any time, kiddo." Her laughter, light and unburdened, fills the space that once echoed with doubt. Behind her, a wall of newsprint fragments, headlines calling her the Ghost Engineer, Champion of Justice, Architect of the Aurora Revolution. She steps outside into Detroit's dawn, breathing deeply. The city's pulse feels different now, charged with possibility, driven by the knowledge that integrity and brilliance can never be silenced forever. Emma Larson walks away from the bay, her silhouette framed by the soft glow of sunrise. The world she left behind has been irrevocably changed, and in the distance, the steady rhythm of a well-tuned engine follows her like a heartbeat, reminding everyone that true power belongs to those who dare to do what's right. Emma's story teaches us that true power isn't measured by titles or boardroom sway. It's forged in the quiet moments when no one's watching. She endured betrayal by the people she trusted most, lost everything she built, and watched her identity be erased. Yet instead of crumbling, she transformed her pain into purpose, proving that resilience is the engine that drives real change. When Victor Hayes stole Emma's work, he believed he could silence her forever, so sure that a polished suit and a lavish title could outrank a single mind's brilliance. Instead, he underestimated the moral justice that lives in every innovator's heart. Emma's revenge wasn't born of cruelty, it sprang from a relentless commitment to the truth. By exposing the theft with evidence she alone controlled, she didn't just reclaim her legacy, she redefined what it means to fight for what's right. This tale reminds us that empathy and integrity can be more powerful than any patent or profit margin. When Emma opened her garage doors to the world, she invited millions to witness a reckoning built on transparency. In doing so, she sparked a movement: open-source excellence, collaborative breakthroughs, and a renewed respect for creators everywhere. Psychologically, Emma's journey reveals how suffering can sharpen our convictions. Each late night in that lab, every moment she felt abandoned, fueled her resolve. Rather than surrendering to bitterness, she channeled her anger into meticulous planning and unshakable focus. That internal alchemy, turning pain into determination, became her greatest weapon. For anyone who's been overlooked or undervalued, Emma's example offers a powerful lesson. You don't need a corner office or a glowing title to change the world. You need courage, clarity, and the willingness to let your work speak truth to power. As we close this chapter, remember that justice isn't revenge, it's restoring balance. Emma didn't destroy her adversaries, she showed them a better way forward. She proved that the noblest triumph is the one that elevates others, not just the victor. So the next time you face injustice, ask yourself, will you let it break you, or will you turn it into the fuel that ignites your own revolution? Because sometimes the most profound victories happen when you choose integrity over imitation, and walk away with your head held high. Emma Larson's journey shows us that sometimes the greatest victory isn't in taking power, but in restoring it where it belongs. She walked into that garage a nameless mechanic. She left it a legend whose integrity reshaped an industry. If you've ever felt underestimated or overlooked, remember, your ideas, your ethics, and your relentless drive are stronger than any title or paycheck. If Emma's story inspired you, hit subscribe now and join our community of underdog champions. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that resilience and honesty can topple empires built on deceit. Comment below. What would you fight for if your work was stolen? Stay tuned. Next week we dive into the untold story of a whistleblower who brought down a pharmaceutical giant. You won't want to miss how one voice can topple even the fiercest Goliaths. Thanks for watching and keep believing in the power of doing what's right.